Hey, happy last day of 2024. I'm still wildly inconsistent on video posting. Better with other social media, kind of. Still not my thing. Still getting used to it. Still feel very out of my skin putting myself out there, but getting better. So I mentioned that in November I started kind of writing a book and did write a book, really for myself, working through, launching my own business and all the all of my dealing with kind of all of my hangups about, I don't know, putting myself out there after 20 plus years in corporate America. Kind of, I don't know. I mean, the probably the best term would be, wearing that sort of corporate mask, not really sharing a whole lot about myself because I just never felt like there was an upside, right? Like, there's not a good, I don't know. I always felt like there was no upside to my bosses knowing that, like, for example, I occasionally played video games at work. That felt like it could only be used against me. I don't know if that's the case, but that was how I felt. Now I don't know. I'm getting to the age where I kind of don't care, which makes this a lot easier if you're younger and still struggling with that. I don't know. Do what feels right. Like, do what's best for you. Do what's safest for you. You'll get there. Don't be afraid to try some stuff though. Anyway, wrote a book. Now I'm on to the sort of process of editing a book, which is, you guys, much harder. At least for me. And again, in part because in my own sort of, I kind of wrote my book in my typical sort of ADHD way, which was started with all the good intentions in the world with like a Google Doc. I don't know, maybe 30-40% of the book is in that Google Doc. The rest is in like various notebooks. Probably not that notebook, but other notebooks. My space here has 3, 4, 5 notebooks that have something in them. So spread across multiple physical notebooks. Again, couldn't just do that in one. There's stuff on my little Kindle Scribe, like digital notebook thing. Occasion, like a couple of Post-it notes, and then probably a good 10% is in my Notes app on this iPhone. That were like random middle of the night thoughts that I kind of woke up and bleary-eyed like typed or dictated on my phone. A lot of those don't make any sense. And all of it is now this big jigsaw puzzle of, okay, I kind of wrote about this piece and where does that go and how does this all fit together? And I'm still assembling it. And with any luck, I, as my family, my family that I love from West Virginia would say, God willing, and the creek don't rise. There's a whole book there, but I don't really know until I get everything pulled together and find out if there's any big holes in that jigsaw puzzle as I fit stuff together. So that's what I've been starting to do. That'll probably carry through into January. I actually did set up a quick little landing page thing to just get a notification when that book actually goes out, that I can, I don't know, throw in the links or the comments or whatever. If you're interested, again, the book is kind of like, I don't know, what if you took maybe some sort of tabletop gaming sort of gamification to, I don't know, a self-help book or doing some reflection. So, this is my quest is my goal, right? Like in my case, my quest is getting this business up and running and I, hopefully profitable enough to pay the bills each month and buy my cat food, who is making a ton of noise in the other room, but I don't think you guys can hear it. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah, so that's where I am right now. Website's out. Just completely lost my train of thought. It's New Year's Eve. I have not been drinking. Maybe that would be a better explanation if I were, in terms of me losing my place. But it's been a long day. I did some good work today. And this video, like I said, I don't know. I felt like I should do something to kind of end the year, acknowledging that, like, I don't know, man. These videos are rough. They're hard for me, but also anything worth doing is worth doing badly for a while, and I got to do it badly before I presumably get better at this. So this is still in the bad category. I'll probably leave these up forever, just so that I can go back and say, oh yeah, I did get better at this. But yeah, editing a book is hard. So I'm gonna come back to that. I'll continue to do that through January, I think, though. Like, and the landing page, yeah, because it's kind of a weird thing to do a landing page for a book that you haven't actually technically finished yet. Or maybe it's not weird. I don't know. Again, this is all new territory for me. Note to self, I guess I should figure out how to promote a book in January, in addition to editing the book. Anyway, did a podcast last week. Actually, the day after Christmas, because we kind of bumped it once. Came on. This is like a local, like, hobby kind of nerd community podcast. Really not promoting anything. Just I kind of reached out to say, like, hey, I've got some thoughts on goals. They always do sort of like a new year. What are your, like, painting goals or hobby goals? What do you want to do this year? What do you want to look back and say you've accomplished? And dealing with ADHD, like, I've had years where it's like, well, I'm going to do A, B, and C, and by February I have zero interest in A or B or C, but I'm working on D, E, and F. So I thought it would be good to kind of go in and talk about just, like, how sort of goal setting is sometimes different with ADHD, and that's something that gets get into in the book a lot too. Disregard that timer. Just means dinner is probably ready. I put it in the book, but goal setting and ADHD, and again, it was a hobby community. The whole point I was getting at, sorry, diversion again, was to just put myself out there, and get comfortable putting myself out there, and do it in a safe space, right? Like, these are, the most of the people listening to this particular podcast would be people I kind of, like, I'm in this community with already anyway. It's sort of a cool little, like, accountability group. It's like, hey, look at this thing I painted. Oh, that's cool. How'd you do that? And it's just just a little group, and it sort of gives you a little extra oomph to finish a project and share some pictures of it, or just share what you did on it if you worked on it that day. So, like I said, I'm a geek, and I guess, like I said, this part of this whole exercise is sort of coming out as a geek, because, again, I lived in corporate America and compartmentalized my life like a serial killer in terms of, like, hobbies and stuff. I think the one thing I shared was that, like, I enjoy, camping, because that one felt kind of, like, safe, and you do have to give up something. But anything beyond that, like, nobody at work was going to know that, like, I really, I liked, board games, or played much in the way of video games, or, ran long, D&D campaigns and things like that. It was just like, no, I don't, there's no good side to anybody knowing that. It felt like that could only be used against me. And again, now, over 40, midlife crisis in the rearview mirror. I don't really care. I think at some point you just learn to accept, like, hey, not everybody's going to like me. That's okay. They don't need to. And I don't need to spend a lot of time worrying about, who does and doesn't like me. Like, I'll try to be a good person, try to be kind. And that's it. I don't know. Anyway, that's probably enough. Possibly too much. So I guess signing off for the year 2024. Here's me, Nick, who hopes to, own and operate a successful coaching business, primarily working with young engineers looking for maybe their first promotion, or increasing visibility, maybe speaking at a conference, and maybe the lead, sorry, not maybe. This is why I'm practicing this, the worst sales pitch in the world. Again, got to get the bad ones out before you get the good ones. New leaders, someone who's maybe was on that team of developers and got promoted to manager, and now all of a sudden they have positional, hierarchical authority over a bunch of people that used to be coworkers, and that's weird. And they don't have any support, or that's the first time they're encountering it. Anyway, coaching is less about training and more about helping you facilitate a conversation with yourself. So kind of one of the fundamental assumptions I make, and I would argue any good, ethically, sound coach makes, is that you'll probably already know what you need to do. You probably got the answers. If you're trying to lose weight, you already know how to do it, right? Like, you don't need somebody to tell you how to do it. What you might need is someone who can help you have a conversation with yourself about why aren't you doing it. And again, that's health and wellness coaching, that's business, that's executive coaching, that's couples coaching, relationship coaching, like all of it's just, I don't know, life coaching, whatever you want to call it. There's sort of a saying in the industry that, like, after the third session, it's all life coaching, because ultimately you're getting into your hang-ups. Like, what happened to you when you were 4 years old you may not even realize it, that's still impacting you today, and how can you work with it? If you want to fix that, that's what therapy's for, and that's different than coaching. But coaching is, I have this reaction when I'm in this situation, and I need to figure out a better way to handle it. Right? It's dealing with the here and now and the tomorrows. Therapy deals a lot more in the past, and is super valuable and highly recommended, and I've done it myself, and not ashamed of it, not ashamed to share that. Although we did just recently establish that I also kind of don't care what people think about me anymore. So, take that for what it's will. But yeah, that's what coaching is to me. Anyway, that was another divergent thought. It's New Year's Eve, folks. I will say cautiously optimistic about 2025. I have concerns, but I hope it all works out well, and it's a good year for everybody. And generally, it's better than the one that came before it. I think maybe sometimes that's all you can ask for. Day by day, week by week, month by month, you hope it's better than what came before it. Anyway, Happy New Year's. Hopefully I will, do this a little bit more frequently and regularly in the new year. Thanks.